We wish to plead our own cause. 7 words. A complete argument. They tell us who intended to speak. They tell us that speaking for oneself was part of the work. And they tell us why this newspaper belongs at the beginning of any serious study of the black press. Today we begin with the page that carried that declaration. This is the Black Press Archives, reading Freedom's Journal one issue at a time, presented by Cipher with Malik. Freedom's Journal was the first African-American newspaper in the United States. Its founding issue was published in New York on March 16, 1827. The newspaper was black-owned and operated. Our primary visual is the surviving first page. We are not using it as decoration. We are reading it as evidence. The title, the date, the columns, and the editor's opening address are part of the historical record. Before we interpret the newspaper's importance, we allow the newspaper to introduce itself. Freedom's Journal began publication in 1827 under Samuel E. Cornish and John B. Russwurm. It was the first African-American newspaper in the United States, and it was black-owned and operated. Those verified facts give the founding page its institutional setting. This was not only a statement made by an individual, it appeared in a publication designed to return to readers issue after issue. A newspaper could make black authorship public, repeatable, and durable. The page in front of us is therefore both a document and an act of institution building. The editors created a place where black voices could enter the public record through a newspaper they operated themselves. We do not need to add language that the editors did not print. The surviving issue gives us a starting point, a publication, a date, its editors, and its stated purpose. We wish to plead our own cause. In its opening address, the newspaper presented self-representation as a central reason for publishing. The sentence is brief, but its structure is precise. The subject is we. The action is plead, and the cause is described as our own. Authorship is at the center of the statement. That does not mean interpretation ends with 7 words. It means interpretation begins with the words that are actually on the page. We can quote them directly. We can identify where they appeared, and we can distinguish their language from our analysis of why that language matters. Creating a newspaper gave black writers a durable public forum in which they could define their concerns, arguments, and priorities for themselves. A newspaper selects what enters its pages. It decides what receives emphasis. It speaks to readers directly, and once an issue is preserved, that speech can remain available beyond the moment of publication. This is why self-representation matters to the history of the black press. It concerns more than visibility. It concerns the authority to frame a subject, to choose the terms of discussion, and to leave evidence in one's own voice. Freedom's Journal made that work institutional. Its founding statement appeared inside a newspaper built to make black authorship public and repeatable. The publication created a record in black voices, one issue at a time. A primary source lets us examine what historical actors chose to publish in the language and layout their readers encountered. That does not remove the need for interpretation. It gives interpretation something visible to answer to. The original page helps us maintain clear boundaries. We can identify a direct quotation. We can label a paraphrase. We can add verified historical context. And we can tell you when you are hearing host analysis. Those labels are not interruptions. They are part of the method. They allow the newspaper's words to remain the newspaper's words. Reading the original page keeps black historical voices at the center of the story. It also makes our interpretation accountable to the surviving record. The source is still here. We can inspect it. We can question our reading against it. And we can begin the history with the people who chose to write it down. We wish to plead our own cause. The importance of the founding issue is not only that a newspaper appeared, it is that the paper announced a principle of self-representation and placed that principle into a public archive. History is not always hidden because it disappeared. Sometimes it is hidden because nobody bothers to read the newspaper. This has been the Black Press Archives, reading Freedom's Journal one issue at a time. Cipher with Malik.com, where knowledge lives. Peace.